What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Mamaverse podcast, where we bring experts in physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual wellness to talk about how moms can improve their overall health in their daily life. I'm your host, Tuhian Lee, and I have my guest today is Tasha Medve. Tasha is a mom, an eco-conscious lifestyle blogger, and digital creator, inspiring sustainable and conscious living one step at a time. Tasha loves providing eco tips and tricks in the home and garden with a focus on overall wellness. Hi, Tasha.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining us on this Mamaverse podcast episode.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes. So, Tasha, can you give us a little bit more info on your background and what inspired you to get into this?
Yes, of course. It's always a good question. I don't think we ever grew up thinking we're going to be a blogger. So it's always interesting how everyone has their own journey to finding their way in the blogging world. My background's in marketing. I did broadcasting, and I even did real estate for 8 years. And I sort of kept searching for something that brought me purpose and that felt really good. And when I had my son, I went down that whole sustainability journey, non-toxic journey, and figuring out how we can live a healthier life. And so the Purposeful You blog started when I had my son, when he was about 3 months old. And I've just continued ever since. And now it's my full-time job.
I love it. So, was there anything in particular that thought maybe I should look into being eco-conscious, eco-friendly beforehand? That's what made you think like, oh, I should really get into this?
I feel very fortunate. My mom is an eco school she's a principal at an eco school. So I was really influenced by my parents growing up. We always composted, we always recycled. So I feel, and my husband too. So we were a team that way, but we realized you could really take it to the next level. And, the way the world is portrayed right now and what kind of environmental impact humans do have, I started to really think this is something that I need to do, that's important to do. And, it's all about one step at a time, though, to not feel overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. And so I think we always had this conscious lifestyle, but we kicked it up a notch when we bring a newborn into the world. And why don't we think about this for ourselves? I don't know. But when we have kids, we slowly start to think about the things that we purchase and our consumerism.
Yeah. So for families that may not be like so knowledgeable in being eco-conscious, what are some of the trends that are very common in households that they may not know are not necessarily good for us or necessarily like eco-conscious?
Yes. And I think, first of all, you break it down per room. So for me, we really started with the kitchen. Saran wrap is a great example. We haven't had saran wrap in our home for 2 years now. And we slowly transferred over to certain types of containers. We use beeswax wraps, certain things that are consciously made and don't leave a huge impact on our world, and they aren't single-use plastics. So single-use plastics is definitely the number one thing we started to tackle. So saran wrap, paper towels, things we throw out all the time. And the first step is really doing a garbage audit. Like, what are we throwing away in the garbage, and what are alternatives we can bring into our home that, they look pretty too. Like, sustainable living can look really beautiful. And it doesn't always have to be expensive, reusing jars like pasta jars and all these different things. So taking it one step at a time per room is really important.
Mm-hmm. That was going to be my next question. It's like, there's so many places to go because like on your blog, you're talking about the home and the garden and then like overall wellness. It's like, which I love your blog, by the way, but like, where should I start?
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying start in the kitchen.
I would say start in the kitchen. That's where our
Okay.
garbages are. That's where we can throw away things. And it starts with at the grocery store. And what we're bringing into our home is where it starts. Putting our fruit and vegetables in reusable bags or having them naked in our cart versus putting them in a single-use plastic bag, every single orange. You know, I cringe when I see bananas in a bag, in a plastic bag. I think, why? Those can be by themselves. You know, we hope we
Mm.
wash our vegetables. So we have to wash our vegetables. So there's little things like that. It's about starting small habits outside of your home so that you bring in less waste in your home. And so I would say start with the kitchen, start with something you are throwing out every single day. What are you purchasing that might have an alternative at the grocery store?
Mm-hmm. You know, as you said that about the bags at the, you know, the grocery and fruit section, I'm like, oh, I use that. And then I just automatically throw away when I get home. So that would be like
Mhm.
an easy swap, I guess, or like adjustment. What
Yeah.
are there any other, you know, we're talking a lot of our audience are moms and busy moms. So
Mhm.
making big shifts could be challenging. So are there any other like easy swaps that we can make in our household?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, for me, it's not making it overwhelming is doing one thing at a time. So if you even
Mm-hmm.
at the grocery store, just bring one reusable bag or decide to put your avocados naked in your cart, just do one thing at a time at the grocery store. Don't do 20 things at once. I think that's the biggest thing I want to let everyone know. And that's why I added one step at a time in my blog, because or else we get overwhelmed. And don't
Mm-hmm.
be kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up if you do put everything in a bag and then the next time you don't. And it's about trying to be consistent and creating a new habit. And a new habit takes 3 to 4 weeks to create. So pick one thing that might be something you really want to change, because the eco-conscious lifestyle starts with you wanting to be more eco-conscious, for you caring and wanting to make a difference and influence our kids. I think that's a big thing, is our kids grow up and they leave the home and they do what your parents do.
Mm-hmm. That's so true. So I like that. We think about what we bring into our household, which could minimize what we throw away. Now,
Mhm.
then you kind of touched upon this a little earlier, like how you compost
Mhm.
about with your, I'm guessing your, I actually don't really know much about composting. Could
Mhm.
you shed some insight on this?
Yes, and you know, composting is a very it's different for everyone because some people have access to municipal compost. Where we live in Canada, we are so lucky that a car or a truck comes and picks up our compost every 2 weeks. So I have a specific bin where we put all our food waste and even takeout containers that are compostable. And I'm able to put it all in one place and the city takes it away and composts it. So I'm very fortunate, and I know that's not in every city. And if you're in an apartment, that it's almost impossible. There are two companies that are producing some countertop compost where you can put your compost bins in and it pretty much blends it up, and you can put that into some pots on your balcony or something like that, or give someone who wants compost what you've been creating in your home. So composting is pretty much throwing out all the ends, all your food waste, all your strawberry tops, all the skins of your oranges, and we put it all in one area, something that can be composted together. People forget that you can't actually put compost in the landfill. They think it's going to be composted. However, when natural food is in the landfill, it creates a methane gas and it doesn't actually compost properly, and it's not clean compost. And
Oh,
that's
I
something
see.
we don't think about. Yeah, we don't think that, oh, if I'm putting an orange in the garbage, that's going to compost over time. It actually doesn't, and creates a really a terrible gas. And so little things that we can think about with our food waste is really important too. And that starts with minimizing food waste. And, you know, we all have food waste. We have kids. They don't want to eat everything we put on the table. There's going to be food waste. But if we can reduce food waste by storing food properly, that's one way that we can minimize our composting at the end of the day too.
Okay. You touched on a couple of things here. So for composting, the idea is we're taking the food waste and turning it into basically soil and nutrients for plants to continue to grow, right? And then we could use it in our garden, but there is a method. I'm sure there's like a specific method, like you said, to do it right. That I don't even know, like you have to like water and do these different processes to do it right. But then you also mentioned about minimizing food waste by proper storage. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite topics that I really dove deep because food waste is a pet peeve of mine. And so when I looked at when you start the sustainable journey, there's so many eco products out there. And so we do have to be careful of greenwashing, which is a company's saying that, oh, this is compostable. But it's just not made ethically, or it's not the strongest product. So when you're thinking about food waste, I think about containers that can be in our fridge that are long lasting, and slowly add, so don't go and spend $200 in 1 month, slowly add containers to your Tupperware drawer for food storage in your fridge. And my number one tip is clear. Always buy clear jars, whether it's glass or hard plastic, so you can see your food. And beeswax wraps are another way that we store our food. Beeswax wraps essentially are cotton cloth with beeswax on top and a jojoba oil. So it's 3 ingredients, and it scrunches up like a saran wrap, and you put that around your avocados or on top of your bowls, and it allows your food to breathe. And I've done tests where I've put a carrot in a Ziploc bag and a carrot in a beeswax wrap, and the carrot is hard 10 days later in the beeswax wrap versus storing in plastic, because in plastic it can't breathe, and our food should still breathe a little bit. So clear containers, beeswax wraps, even just using a bowl with a plate on top to start, and just make sure you're not throwing away a quarter or, you know, a half a tomato. Do store it in your fridge, and think about your meals so that you aren't food wasting.
I like that. Yeah, I'm a fan of the plate on top of the bowl. Personally, I'm like, oh, I don't know where my saran wrap is. Just easy,
Yeah.
easy solution. So, are you also do you recommend staying away from plastics as far as like food containers, like those plastic Tupperware, and using glass instead?
I do choose glass. Plastic can leach. You can get silicone. I actually don't have a problem with silicone. It's BPA free, food safe. And they have silicone bags that I use instead of Ziploc bags. Yeah, there's a couple different products. And so it's just like a Ziploc bag. It zips on the top, but it's silicone, it's hard, and you can put it in the fridge or the freezer or the microwave. I've made popcorn in them, and they're clear as well, or you can get colors. So for me, I do think about the leaching of the plastic in our food, especially if you're going to put it in the microwave. Always put your food in glass or a bowl when you go to microwave your leftovers. So I do stay away from plastic. Plastic can break easily as well, and glass is a little bit more sturdy, and glass is 100% recyclable, where we have so many different types of soft plastic and hard plastic out there that it's actually getting really hard to recycle certain plastics. And as a consumer, and I don't know what that different number means and what my municipality will take and not take. So the scary number that's been thrown out there is 9% of our recycling actually gets recycled, because there's so many different types of products out there now. There's a million different types of plastics, and, you know, different cartons have different liners inside. So without making people feel overwhelmed and discouraged. It's just little things that we can slowly change in our household to have less recycling is always my goal.
Mm-hmm. Wow, 9%. Because we have
Mm-hmm.
recycling that comes every week. That's usually like
Mm-hmm.
filled with boxes and plastics from food, generally,
Yeah.
like food containers, and only 9%, huh? Mm.
Yes, because technically a lot of the recycling isn't completely clean when we put it in our recycling. And if there is a little scoop of peanut butter left in that jar, it contaminates a ton around it. And they have to throw a whole ton of recycling around it out in the garbage. So we do have to think about people sorting. And if they don't know or if it's contaminated, it just goes right into the garbage.
I see. Okay, that's good to know. Like when we put things in recycle bin, that it needs to be cleaned out too. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so do you find that being more eco-conscious actually is expensive? Like
And that's a
buying
good
these different
question.
products and just thinking from like these are different households, we've got kids, we got always paying for all the things. Like how do
Mhm.
we manage the cost in making this lifestyle choice too?
And there's little things we can do, like reusing jars. We reuse our pasta jars,
Mm-hmm.
and you can put leftover pasta in it. You can use it in your pantry. So there's things that are free in the sustainable swaps world. Using the bowl with the plate on top, and I think doing little things in your home that is free. To live a little more consciously or less food waste is where we should start. And I always say, use what you have. That's the number one thing, is don't go and buy something new because you think you need it. Use what you have. I have washed Ziploc bags at least 80 times before, and I continue to use them in the freezer. And so I'm not going to just throw it away because it's plastic. So don't just throw away things because we think we should buy new items. Use what you have first, all the way through. And then my favorite thing I always tell people is keep an eye on certain products you want to purchase, like beeswax wraps or these silicone, Ziploc bags. And when they go on sale, that's when you could purchase one or two. And they do go on sale, 25% off or 50% off. That's the time you want to buy something or try something so that you're not breaking the bank that month, and just slowly add to your little sustainable drawer. I love my little drawer of my few things that I've purchased over time that are quality, that should last a lifetime. But yes, it's not always the cheapest, these new items. So use what you have first and look for
Mm.
some sales, because that's a time we can try new things.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. So we identify that the kitchen is like a big place to start, and there's a lot of opportunity there, from what kind of food we bring in, how we eat, and then what we do with our waste. Is there any other, what would you say is like the second target of like to tackle? Um,
The bathroom.
okay. Cleaning product wise, or is that what you mean?
That too, but I would say cleaning's number one for if you want to create a non-toxic home and
Mhm.
a more eco-friendly environment for your children, for your pets. That's what did start a little bit of the journey when we started realizing what we were cleaning our home with before we brought our son home. So
Mhm.
we'll start with cleaning first. I think that we always assume that whatever's at the grocery store is safe for us, right? That's the whole point of something being approved. It should be safe for us at the grocery store. But over time, we've realized that there's a few companies that have monopolies, or there's ways to get around standards, or different countries have higher standards and lower standards. So I think we all have to look at, if we can't, I can't read every ingredient in my all natural cleaner still, because I don't know all these all natural types of products. But if we can think about what we're cleaning our surfaces on, and slowly start looking at what products we have in our home, and when they're done, switching to more of an eco-friendly product that is maybe all natural, or the company's mission is all about sustainability and non-toxic. Because again, greenwashing is out there. Something could say green and you
Mhm.
think it's eco. There's so many eco-friendly, green, all these buzzwords that companies are using, but it doesn't actually mean it's completely toxic free or green for the environment and for ourselves. So
Mm-hmm.
taking a little bit extra step to researching the company, and that's what my blog is all about. I love doing all the research for everyone so that I can say, hey, this is a company that fits my mandate. Check it out if you want, because it's very overwhelming. So start local, start in your area, because my cleaning products are only available in Canada that I like to use. So I understand that not all products are available worldwide. So check out what's in your area, and then do a little research on their website. Do they have a sustainability section? Are they very transparent? Because I think as consumers, we started to now demand more transparency. So now we can start to do a little bit more research and know the company's values when we go to their website. So with cleaning products, there's certain switches that I think are really important, because the other side to cleaning is going down the drains. And we don't think about, we might clean our toilet with something that's toxic because we're not touching that. However, it goes down the drains, goes into our oceans, and it hurts our wildlife. So thinking about what we put down the drain is a really important one. And that could be where someone maybe wants to start, is with their cleaning products. We use that so often that you might go through your cleaning products faster. So when you're done with it, before we go to the store and just autopilot buy that same cleaning product, let's stop, take a moment, be conscious to think about, hey, what is another product that we could try that might be better for us and the environment?
Mm-hmm. And to that, in the bathroom, is there also like waste that we can control and minimize other than, I'm guessing, toilet paper? Like, is there anything else is that what you were referring to?
Yeah. So if we think about what's in the first, two drawers of our bathroom, it can get a little scary.
Yeah.
We products are one thing. Some people like more products than others. That depends your routine, if you're a minimalist routine or if you like 6 or 7 different things. But certain things that we could change is makeup remover pads, like the little ones we throw away in the garbage once we wiped off our makeup. There's actually microplastics in there, and we're wiping our face with plastic. And so those little things, yes, it's cheaper. You can go to the dollar store and for $3 get a pack of 25, or you could spend $25. So, over 2 to 3 years, it pays off with reusable cotton rounds that companies are starting to make now, that I just put in the wash every time I use it, or I might use it 3 or 4 times and then put it in the wash. So switching to more reusables in the bathroom is out there, and there's a lot of options. It's just a little bit more money up front, but the long term, it's cheaper. And that's something we also don't think about, is long-term purchases versus quick, short purchases. And of course, we all have to do what's within our budget, right? I'm not saying we all have to spend more money every month. So again, use up what you have and slowly make switches as it works for your budget.
As I was asking the question about bathroom and waste, I then right immediately I thought, oh, just like all my makeup products, like face wipes and makeup remover. And I'm like, oh, okay, there's opportunity there for us, and like cotton swabs and stuff like that. So there's opportunity to minimize. Yeah.
And washing our face, I think, is super important to think about the cloths that are disposable that we don't exactly know what they're made of. They say cotton, but it's not 100% cotton, or else it should be able to be composted. So, I have 2 cloths that are really soft, made of bamboo, that I love to put on my face. So starting new products is about finding products that do work for you, that you like to use. So don't just buy something, and if you don't like it, give up. I think it might take some time to find the brand of the product that you do like, and think of it as a long-term thing. Once you find the one you love, that's what you're going to use forever.
Yeah, I like that. So if you could give moms one tip that's an easy, quick win for moms in their household to become more eco-conscious, eco-friendly, what would that be?
Mm-hmm. I would say there's too many things here. Let me think about that for a minute.
You did give us a lot of tips earlier. They were
I
all
know, I
really
know.
good.
I'm thinking, there's certain things for moms. I think about food first with our kids, and granola bars versus making energy balls that are 5 ingredients, so you don't have a whole bunch of plastic wrappers. There's so many little things. I think the number one thing is if we can minimize a little bit of saran wrap every day, I'd be happy.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Tasha, you just educated me and I'm sure a lot of the audience on a lot of ways to become more eco-friendly. Where can our audience find you, connect with you, and work with you?
Yeah, so I have an online website called thepurposefulu.com, and I share a whole bunch of blogs, about 3 or 4 blogs a week there in different categories. And you can also find my contact page if you do want to contact me, ask me any questions. Also on Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest at The Purposeful You.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you again so much for joining us on the Mamaverse podcast. And to the listeners out there, make sure you go and connect with Tasha. Say hi. I'll leave all the links in the show notes for you to check out her Instagram and her website, connect with her. And thank you again for joining us on this episode of the Mamaverse. And we'll catch you on the next one.